Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spicy Coding Academy, where I am going to take you through how to make your first coding portfolio project. I know, it's exciting, it's ready, it's amazing. Now, what I want y'all to start with is to go to Visual Studio Code and be aware that Visual Studio Code is different than the other Visual Studio. There's actually two. And I don't want you to get Visual Studio. I want you to get Visual Studio Code. And make sure that's in your little dashboard. I want you to double tap, create a new folder, and call it Coding Portfolio. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Visual Studio Code and we're going to go to Open and we're going to go to that particular file, Coding Portfolio. That particular folder, excuse me. We're going to open it. Now within this right here is make a new file. This is make a new folder. And this is just refresh explore. So we're actually going to go in here and we're going to make a new file. And if you're wondering which file you're going to make, think about what we were covering in the past. If you said HTML, you are correctamundo. Now, for this HTML, we're going to do a little coding where I will take you through the basics. And then once I do that and you have your little training wheels on and you code along, I'm going to set you free so that you can really explore this project in all its beauty. So we're going to code along, get ready, watch this as you code, whether it's on your tablet or something, but make sure you have this up because it's really important that you code along so that you get this muscle memory into your brain so that it becomes like second nature to you. Now, we're going to start off with the obvious top part that every doc for the HTML needs, and that is doc type HTML. Remember, this is simply saying, hey, this is an HTML document. Now down here, we're going to do HTML lang equals en, which again is saying, hey, we want this document to be in English, and we want you all to know that it's going to be in English. So this is the declaration that this HTML lang will be in English because that is important. Next, we're going to create the head and we're going to format this in such a way so it looks pretty and comfortable. Now, I want you to do a little indentation. It doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to go like this, but it can just be one space if that helps. Because we're going to do a lot of indentations and we don't want to get too crazy where we're all the way out in left field. So just one space of an indentation is enough, not a tab, just a space. We're going to do meta char set or char set, whatever you prefer, and we're going to set it to UTF-8. Now essentially this is the metadata used to configure your file, and this is the information that your computer uses in order to make sure it looks how you want it to. So UTF-8 is a standard protocol to put in your HTML to talk to your computer and make sure it knows what you want. So now with that UTF, we're going to go into meta name. We're going to classify exactly what we're trying to do here, and we're going to classify, hey, in regards to the viewport content, this is what I want you to do. So content describes what you want it to do. We're going to take the width equal device, and then we're going to dash that with the width, and then we're going to initial scale equals 1.0. Now essentially what this is saying is I want you to display this information regardless of if it's on a computer screen or a mobile phone screen, the same exact width that fits that particular screen. So if it's a tiny screen, make it look good. If it's a big computer screen, make it look good. Don't make it look chunky. Don't make it look weird. make it automatically conform to the screen size. And then this is saying, hey, don't zoom in or zoom out. Make it so it's the normal size. We don't want any pre-zoom or post-zoom. We just want it the normal size. So this takes care of making sure that there's no zoom added to it. All right, so now that we did that and we talked to the computer with the metas, we're going to go down to the titles. So, title. And we're going to start out, and remember, you are going to be able to change this, make this your baby. We are simply starting out with what it will do. At the beginning, we're making a baby skeleton code along so that you can explore beyond this. So, my portfolio is going to be the title, and we're going to link, and we want to add a rel to explain what are we linking? Well, we're going to link the style sheet. So rel explains what it is, and then href actually holds the style sheet. So style.css is where we will eventually put the styles when we get to that. But right now, we're just focusing on the HTML. We're not going a little too crazy, going one by one. So as you can see, this did not auto-correct, but we want to keep the format looking snazzy and nice. So head and head are one space back. All this good stuff is one space forward. So don't forget that, because it's going to help out with readability. Next section, body. All right, yeah, you guessed it. We got the body going on here. We are already at the body, guys. So this is when we're going to start branching out and making it look a little more indentation-y. I create my own words. So one space, as you can see, there's one space forward. And from here, you have body. From here, you have header. And from here, we're going to add nav. Now, as you can see, I'm just using one space because I don't want it to get crazy out here. You can indent, you can choose to tab, but ultimately, I'm just doing this to show you so it is quicker. But you can auto format, and if you want to auto format later, you go here, auto format. Or you can just type in format. Okay, well, essentially what you can do is take all this, Command Tab, Command Shift. Oh. Okay, we'll worry about that later. Okay, anyway. So now we're going to take nav, and we're going to go into the first list. Okay, so remember, nav is that top bar that we're going to be making look good. We're going to make it look good, guys. All right, so what do we want to start with? UL. Yep, right there, UL. And within that UL, unordered list, we want list order. So this gives us the opportunity to define multiple lists. So in here, we got the first one, which actually you can even, this will probably make it look even better, is if you keep it like this and you put the A directly in it. So it condenses the code and makes it look not too crazy. So we're going to do about, this is going to be your section on about you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make it super simple, and we're going to copy and paste it. But remember, sometimes it gets a little crazy. So copy and paste it and have your cursor right here. And we're going to do that one more time. And then we're going to change this ref to skills, because you want to display your skills for these employers. And then for this one, we're going to have projects, because you want to say, hey, look at all these projects I made. Yes, I'm a beast. You need me on your team. You're going to have to pay me well, or else I'm going to go to another team. And that's how you play hard to get, not just in relationships, but also with coding and getting a job. So we got that looking spick and span. Look at how clean that looks. Ooh-wee. Now, I know I'm not tabbing the crap out of here. I'm just doing little spaces, and this is just partially for beginner because tabbing can get a little crazy. People can lose order, and they can, again, be all the way out here, and it just doesn't look good. So we're just going baby steps. We're just doing spaces, and you can do as many tabs as you want later, or in this one. This is your code along. So now we got that section done. We are going to our first section, about. So here within the body, we described the header, and the header is looking pretty good. And the next section, we're going to go into about and describe what's going on. So if we want to keep this looking clean, looking spick and span, we're going to use section, and we're going to identify which one we want to create the content for. So we're going to go for about, and don't forget these little suckers at the end. And now we're going to write init and h1, and we're going to display this to the screen, because remember, ID is just telling the computer which one you're trying to type for. This is actually writing it to the actual website screen so that people who click on your website will see it. So about me, and then below it we're going to have a P, which stands for paragraph. We're going to say something like, welcome to my portfolio, friends and enemies. Mwahaha. I am passionate about coding and making bank. There you go. That is your paragraph. Now, down below, we got the end of this section, and we are going to follow this pattern, and we're going to do it for skills. So now, and also for this, you can tab it 1 if you want, and for this, you can tab it, just highlight the whole thing and tab it. And what that does is it allows you to have a little more indentation. So once you do the one space, if you're like, hey, I want a little more tabulation going on, you take the sides what are inside if you want to see it, and you can have fun with the tabs and auto format later. But this actually helps a little bit, because now if we put it together, it's got a little more hierarchy, as you can tell. A little more hierarchy goes a long way. So now we got a section, and we're going to create another section. So tabs, there's no right or wrong. It's really what works best for you. So we're going to do skills, and in here we're going to say, hey, what are my skills? What am I doing here? We're going to write it to the screen, skills, and then below it we're going to write unordered list. We're going to declare, okay, this is an unordered list, and then we're going to do list order, define what is in our list. So we're going to say, okay, well, so here's my HTML project, and then here's my CSS project, and then here's my JavaScript project. And remember, Java, the S is capitalized. It looks weird, I know, but that's just how it is. And then maybe some responsive designs, and then this ends the unordered list with a little backslash, and this section ends the section. Now what's next? Projects. Okay, and my bad, skills in reference to what skills you know. Projects is coming next. A little human error on my part, because I am human. There's like a song about that, I think. It says, I'm only human, and the people try to grab me. I'm only human, and they don't understand me. Okay, yeah. So now we're doing projects, parejos, okay? And we're gonna do H2, having fun with that. Remember what H2 is, I'll let you remember that, okay? And down here, we have div class. And div is that one thing when you want to add a class to it, use a div. So we're going to call project. Within this div right here, see how I have this little div right here? We're going to put in an H3, which makes it even smaller. And we're going to say our first project, project 1. Hey, look at this, employers. I'm doing good. How are you? And then for the next one, we're going to have project 1. Description of project 1, which remember, P is where you go crazy. This is when you talk forever. You just say as much as you want. And if it gets too long, you just do this. Boom. Or if that is still too long for you, you just go down here and you make it shorter, and it doesn't have to be crazy. But you can have long list of lines and it works. So after this, we're going to create an A link, which allows us to use href. And href gives us the opportunity to link our project locally until we change it to something else, or to the actual file that we want to import. So you want them to be able to see the file. You could put your GitHub, you can put your Bitbucket, but this you can change later. And when they click on this learn more button, or however you choose to style it, then it will take them to your project. So we finished that little div, and the reason why we put it in the div was because we want to have multiple projects, and in order to exemplify multiple projects, we want to have these divs because it's a nice way to keep them looking nice and spicky and spanny. So this is another project, and we're going to use the same class because we want it to be styled as the previous project. We're going to use the same H3 because, again, we want to keep it looking a little spicky and spanny, if you get what I'm laying down. And for this one, we're going to have a similar routine. Describe. Description, describe. We'll just keep that a little saucier, because that's just how we do it. And then a similar thing right here. And you can start adding stuff in right now. If you're like, hey, I want to start going crazy. Okay, well, no one's stopping you. You can go as crazy as you want. Just don't tell them I said it. And then we're going to go to learn more. And then look at that. And if you notice, we're starting to get a commonality. This is so common that look what we can do. We can just go down here, boom. And then instead of project 1, make that project 3. And look at that. But it's good to write it at least twice because then it really gets in your brain. So we're done with that section. Congratulations. Look at that. We are already almost done. How does it feel? All right, so that is the code along for today. I hope you enjoyed. And the next one, we will go over the next section, which is the contact form and the footer. But right now, enjoy this. Realize that you just coded a whole HTML. Look at all this code you coded. Be proud of yourself, enjoy yourself, and know you are going to be a master coder eventually, if not today. So yeah, keep it going. Enjoy. Don't forget to save your project. And also, we're going to go over source tree and how to make sure you upload that correctly. All right, everybody. Thank you for coding along. Have a wonderful rest of the day.